The Chinese police are collecting blood samples from men and boys from across China to build a genetic map of its roughly 700 million males, giving authorities a powerful new tool for an emerging high-tech surveillance state. Police have swept across the country since late 2017 to collect enough samples to build a vast DNA database, according to a new study published on Wednesday by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, a research organization, based on documents also reviewed by the New York Times. With this database, authorities would be able to track down a man's male relatives using his blood, saliva or other genetic material. A U.S. company, Thermo Fisher, is helping by selling test kits to Chinese police tailored to their specifications. American lawmakers have criticized Thermo Fisher for selling equipment to Chinese authorities, but the company has defended its business. The project is a major escalation of China's efforts to use genetics to control its people, which had been focused on tracking ethnic minorities and other, more targeted groups. It will add to a growing, sophisticated surveillance net that the police are deploying across the country, one that increasingly includes advanced cameras, facial recognition systems and artificial intelligence. The ability of the authorities to discover who is most intimately related to whom, given the context of the punishment of entire families as a result of one person's activism, is going to have a chilling effect on society as a whole, said Maya Wang, a China researcher for Human Rights Watch. Beijing on Thursday lashed out after President Donald Trump signed a law calling for sanctions to punish Chinese officials for human rights abuses against that country's Uyghur Muslim minority. The latest bout in the ongoing war of words between the world's two largest economies comes after allegations and excerpts of a book by former National Security Advisor John Bolton that Trump told China's leader, Xi Jinping, that he supported Beijing's construction of camps to detain Uyghurs. "We again urge the U.S. side to immediately correct its mistakes and stop using this Xinjiang-related law to harm China's interests and interfere in China's internal affairs," China's foreign ministry said in a statement on Thursday, referring to the region in the northwest of the country where many Uyghurs live. "Otherwise, China will resolutely take countermeasures, and all the consequences arising therefrom must be fully borne by the United States," it added, without detailing what such countermeasures might entail. Many countries have voiced their condemnation at the United Nations of China's treatment of Uyghurs. The UN estimates that more than 1 million Muslims have been detained in the Xinjiang camps. China says the camps provide vocational training and are needed to fight extremism. Bolton also asserts that Trump asked Xi to agree to trade policies that would help with his re-election bid in November. Responding to this claim, China said on Thursday that it had no intention of interfering in U.S. elections, according to Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian. Huawei is a national security risk and has engaged in unacceptable acts like routing network information to the Chinese government, former Google CEO Eric Schmidt has claimed. "There's no question that Huawei has engaged in some practices that are not acceptable in national security," Schmidt said in a documentary to be aired on BBC Radio. "There's no question that information from Huawei routers has ultimately ended up in hands that would appear to be the state," he added. "However that happened, we're sure it happened." The telecommunications giant has often been accused of posing a risk to national security, with U.S. officials worried it could enable Chinese espionage. Washington has put significant pressure on allies to bar Huawei from accessing their next-generation 5G mobile networks. The UK is now reviewing a decision to allow the firm a restricted role in its 5G rollout. Experts say that Huawei would have no choice but to hand over network data to Beijing if it is requested due to Chinese espionage and national security laws. But Huawei has repeatedly denied accusations that it passes data to Beijing and insists it's independent from government. The firm hit back at Schmidt for his comments Thursday, disputing the suggestion that it hands customer data to the Chinese authorities. The allegations made by Eric Schmidt, who now works for the U.S. government, are simply not true and, as with similar assertions in the past, are not backed by evidence, Huawei Vice President Victor Zhang told CNBC. Schmidt, who led Google from 2001 to 2011, is now chair of the Pentagon's Defense Innovation Board. A new report published late last night states that a newly discovered spyware effort attacked users through 32 million downloads of extensions to Google's market-leading Chrome web browser, according to researchers at Awake Security. This highlights the tech industry's failure to protect browsers as they are used more for email, payroll and other sensitive functions. Google said it removed more than 70 of the malicious add-ons from its official Chrome web store after being